Hey everyone, it's me, I'm a Game Nerd here, bringing you my review for Naruto Chapter 670. Now, I'm just gonna start off by saying with this Naruto chapter, just gonna make it quick and simple as with the title, just gonna start out like this. It's hard to buy a lot of things that's going on with this chapter, like, I'll just skip straight to the very end to explain this thing that, at least for me, that's hard to buy. Naruto is the reincarnation of the Sage of the Sixth Path son, which I believe we learned in the chapter the Sage of the Sixth Path name is Hormit, or what, or I'll go look up as I'm explaining this. But basically, the reason why I find it hard to buy is maybe I could easily really buy it the fact that he's the reincarnation of the Sage of the Sixth Path, because that was foreshadowed a couple hundred, like I want to say at the most, like, maybe 2 years ago, a couple hundred chapters ago, on how the QB said Naruto reminds him a lot of the old man, which is obviously that he's talking about the Sage of the Six Paths. That I could somewhat, I'm like, maybe the fact that he's the reincarnation of his son, like, you know what? Alright, I'll just say this. I'll buy that, but barely. Kishi, I'm letting you off the hook on that one. I'll buy it for now. And now I'm going to go into some of the other aspects of this chapter. We primarily learned some aspects about the Sage of the Six Paths, mainly just a little more details into things we already know about. We found about, of course, like his two sons, like one of the mini reincarnation of Naruto, and how the older son had far superior chakra than the younger one, while the one with the less amount of chakra trained hard, and he actually was the one who became his father, and he became his father's successor. So there was that there, which, now this weirded me out. Like, I went through, like, I couldn't really find out, maybe the fact that I guess he's the motherfucking Sage of the Six Paths, but he stated the fact that how much, like, a couple times in this chapter, Sage of the Sixth Path mentions how much Naruto reminds him of his son. And just seeing here, I'm like, how would you know that? Granted, you're the Sage of the Sixth Path, but I am not sure you know what exactly is going on in the world. Like, I really want to learn a lot more about this guy. Like, I'm actually kind of hoping that the next few chapters we learn more about this, because there's a lot of things I'm having a hard time buying, like, completely understanding at the moment. Maybe this is because I'm reviewing a manga panda translation, but the fact that Sage of the Sixth Path, maybe this was something I missed in the chapter, but he even mentioned the fact that the tree that's out on the battlefield, like the one that his mother took the apple from and ate, like, there's a lot of history about this guy. Like, I'm wondering, like Naruto said, where did your mother came from? And she does not look human. Like, she looks like a complete another demon. And Sage of the Sixth Path was like, nah, that's not important at the moment. Just listen to what I'm about to tell you. I'm like, does Kishi at all want to really build his world? Like, that is some really interesting details. Those could be really interesting parts. Like, I hate to compare it to another series, but right now with Magi, this current arc, and if you guys don't know what's going on with manga at the moment, like if you haven't even heard about it, but basically in this one manga I read, which I've been completely lazy to review, Magi, we're finding out, like, this current arc is a flashback arc, but we are learning the creation, a lot of things about the world, like going back prior to its creation, and learning about more. So it's, I guess, almost the world of Magis is almost equivalent to God, King Solomon. We're finding out a lot about his life at the moment, and yet it really feels like it should be the same with Sage of the Sixth Path. Like, this guy's the god of all shinobi, and there's a lot of stuff that probably predates him, but this is, I guess, one of my main complaints with just Naruto as a series as a whole. Like, if you guys follow my channel, you know one of the key aspects that will get me hooked on to any anime or manga is usually, like, a fascinating and interesting world. Naruto has a lot of potential for one, but she like, at least part 1, he has some solid work, some pretty good world building, but now, like, this chapter really is just showing me the fact that he honestly, I don't think, cares much about the world, and is just telling a part of its story instead of not just telling us this story in the world, but perhaps even telling us about the world itself. Which, that honestly really disappoints me. That's, honestly, now that I think about it, probably my biggest disappointment with the whole series, and you guys know me. I've been disappointed a shit ton with the last couple years of Naruto. But yeah, overall, this was, I'm gonna give it an okay chapter. We at least got some world building, but it's making me want a lot more. And a lot of the things in this chapter is hard to just for me to buy, and overall, it just feels really, it just, like, the first half feels like a complete waste, and yeah. Like, it literally takes us like 10 pages for the Sage of the Sixth Path to introduce himself completely to Naruto and tell me, yeah, I'm the Sage of the Sixth Path. When really, that should have went down in the first 2 pages. And hell, the chapter could have still ended the same and given us a little more details in its world. There's a lot of better things that could have gone with this chapter. But yeah, this was, I'm just gonna say this is an okay Naruto chapter. With okay world building, some solid moments, but I wouldn't say any of them were great, and the first half was a complete waste. And yeah, were you guys hearing this Naruto chapter? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you somewhere in the middle? If you guys like this video, leave it a like. If you dislike it, leave it a dislike. If you want to see more content like this, sub to me. Yeah, I'm Gamer signing out. Peace.